Hello, beautiful, amazing Earth and the human beings, every individual. Today, I would like to talk about how when you are training spiritually, when you are every day using your will, using your focus and your longing, it is a feeling of obligation and responsibility in a sense to sit in the moment and feel ourselves out. What do we feel in the moment? What do we think in the moment? What do we want in the moment? By objectively observing ourselves doing this, we practice and cultivate our I, our ego, our soul faculties to use our consciousness, use our cognition in a more flowing and open manner. By opening up your ego to the whole world, instead of being stuck inside this body and everything around is separate from me and I am alone. Instead, you have opened up your ego, your I, to encompass the whole world. Taken as an example, if you see most of humanity only as a big mass in your consciousness, in your visualization, in your imagination, then it is not life, then it is only abstractions and generalizations. But if you do have life, for every single human being you have met, you have a living being, you have a living cognition of that person, and having an awareness of that person is always changing, always becoming something else, and allowing that space to be here. By allowing this space, we come into many people have probably experienced this before, but you are coming into a timeless zone, a zone where time does not exist. Or it does exist, but we have forgotten it and we are in the moment it is especially easy with two people. If it is three or more, it will quickly become chaos because, well, some people like to follow another person and do not want to show out their own self. This is not up to me to point out in a grotesque manner, but I want to point it out nonetheless. If we are 4, 5, 6 people, and 1 or 2 people, let's say, this is just an example, are subconsciously making fun of a person in that group, and then 2 or 3 others, without thinking about it, jumps on that wagon. That is sleeping. That is being dragged. That is not free will. Free will is always having the I, the ego, here in the moment and feeling your way through. Is this one of my values? Is this something I can take with me further and make me a better human being in relation to the world? Spiritual training is not for enjoyment and for comfort and for coping and for dreaming ourselves away. It is for real evolution. It is to have a place here in this world. Since we are alive and have a life of between 70 to 100 years, it is important to actually live earnestly, because why waste the life? Why waste away a whole lot of time by drifting, by dreaming, by sleeping? Instead, by being awake, aware, and always wake up in the day, wake up every day to be open and wondrous. Have a reverence for the world, for our life, for what we experience, no matter what. Even our scientific and our more abstract theories, the way we are thinking today, our cognitive capabilities, have made us capable, have made us have the ability to be calculating, to be objective, to see an object without putting our ego in the way. Of course, by not having the ego in place, you are not relating yourself to the world anymore, and everything is separate. But by having yourself in relation to everything, by having your I become everything, by encompass the whole cosmos with your I, and studying the whole cosmos and its more sublime and its more detailed parts. And by balancing these out, having a balance between seeing things as one and seeing things as many. Because many comes from the one. And by saying that we all are one is as abstract as saying that I am a human or I am a spirit, without actually having studied what a spirit are or what a human being is. You can't say you are a human being if you don't know what a human being is. Right? That is the example. It's like judging something you never have studied before. It's completely upside down. We don't even have any rights to talk about it. We can criticize all we want, but if we don't have any specialized, objective specialization or expertise in the area, we can't judge it. We can only put a personal opinion on it. And that is as much worth as the shit you put in the toilet. Everyone does it, but no one wants to know of it. That's the feeling. That to be able to be critical to our own thinking, feeling, and willing. To not be egotistical. To not use our ego to think that we are goody two-shoes and angels, but do and behave and do actions that reflect something demonic or something subhuman. That it is not truth. It is a lie, and a lie is not good for the soul. It is not specifically comfortable. But by having true loving objectivity, where you see things from a spiritual being's eyes, instead of seeing it from a dead universe, the highest objective viewpoint you can have is from a higher spiritual loving being. And by having from those eyes, we can quickly regulate ourselves in our morals and ethics. For every action you do immorally or unethically, you will feel pain in your soul. You will feel that you have done something wrong. You have done something you should not have done and have to amend. And if you do not amend, the problem will persist for a while. This is common knowledge in spiritual work. And by actually having the will, the want, the obligation, the responsibility to better ourselves for the world, not for ourselves, not to collect a lot of knowledge and just to feel good about ourselves, but to use it to share with the world. That is what real objective love is. Every human being has a right to know these things, has a right to know that they are an individual human being that have every responsibility for themselves to better themselves. And if they only complain and say, do this and that for me, without flipping a coin about changing themselves. Think about if everyone in the world was like that, it will be a war against all. It will be that war. That is why we need to come to join together in an understanding, even though we have different viewpoints. Everything has to do with studying even the opposition, studying what our opponents is doing and studying to understand it. If you try to shove it away, push it away, you will never understand it. You have to experience it to understand it. You can't visualize something you haven't experienced yet. You can imagine and try to put a feeling on it, but until you have physically experienced it, or at least trying with your cognition to go in and understand it for real, you can do it with your soul and actually live it in a sense, if you have a strong enough soul faculty, cognitive abilities for it. But as I said, if you try to push away things without trying to understand them, without studying it objectively for a while, see where it comes from, see what they have to say, without judging it with your personal opinion, you can never understand it objectively. Objectivity requires your personal opinion from what you have experienced in this life. Put it aside and see the object for what it is, not what we feel about it. And then we can afterwards make it much broader and much deeper. But we have to learn about these things. With spiritual practice, to try to explain these things to a person that never has done this before is like trying to explain writing to someone that has never done any writing before. With the right set of situations, anyone can learn to write. This is the same principle. So, I wanted to be a little disciplined today. I love to feel a little military sometimes, but I love to have that artistic but creative emotional feeling in behind there. Because becoming too cold and hard and calculating and militaristic, as I call it, becomes, you slowly but surely dry up inside and become cold and hard like stone. And if you go the complete different way, you will not have the will to even have, you will only become like dreamy, drifting. These are two extremes. Don't take me wrong, we are not put either or. We are oscillating always based on how much we allow ourselves to get dragged places. Of course, we are guided many places by the Spirit. And a lot of these experiences are karmic experiences meant for us to grow and learn, even in the worst of situations. If you can still be childlike and wondrous and reverent and show honor to the world and to the Spirit, even though you've gone through the worst of the worst experiences, then you are doing something right. Then you have found a light you follow that has hope, even though you have experienced the worst of crap in life. And it is up to each and every individual one of us to find out for ourselves uniquely. We can help each other, of course, but to find out who we are, how we operate, what is our habits and bad habits, shadows and judgments, thoughts of dismay and this hate and such. How much control do you have over it? How much do you allow yourself to feel this and to put poisonous, and now I'm really referring to judgment that do not have any solution to world problems. It is only more poison spewed out to put in even more of the problems in the world. That doesn't help. Instead, you should train yourself up to see the change you want to have in this world. When you do this, you can have a conscience to speak about these things. You don't feel bad because you know you're doing the work. You know what I mean. When you know you're doing enough work, no one can speak against you for what you do, because you are doing this for all. You're doing this for the world. You're doing this for the Spirit, the divine. We are here for a purpose. And by finding this purpose, every one of us, we open ourselves up to evolution, to growth. And you can feel that you are changing day by day, moment by moment, and becoming more and more shining out and purifying your inner world, purifying your bad habits, purifying many of the bad memories we had in the past, taking them forth, viewing them, feeling the pain we felt in those moments, and grow from it, learn from it. If we tuck it away under the rug, we will never be able to learn from it. That is what memories are for. Thanks everyone. May the divine guide us on this path to evolution. And may we all find harmony and understanding with each other. Love you all. Goodbye.